Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, navigating the human experience together.
Hapade Dero, and welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and today we're talking about the Pacific's largest celebration of culture. It's held every 4 years, the Festival of Pacific Arts, gathering nations from Melanesia, Polynesia, Micronesia, and beyond. And this year, it's being held in Polynesia, Hawaii, to be specific. And here to tell us more is the Executive Director of the Commonwealth Council for Arts and Culture, Gloriana Teuira.
Hi, Kat.
Glo, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
You look so lovely today.
Thank you. I wanted to advertise this muar, kind of like my traditional. It's made from dead banana leaves.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then, of course, the flowers are made from the straps that we use for the muar. Just carve them out, flower kind, and then glue them to match the outfit.
I love it. It really stands out.
Thank you.
And we have an outstanding event that we're talking about today. Yes. FestPac, as it's called affectionately. Yes. Why should we be getting excited about FestPac? What is it all about?
Well, FestPac, for this year, it's the 13th year Festival of Pacific Arts that is held every 4 years. But the excitement in it is going there to meet all these other different countries, sharing what you have, sharing who you are, what you are, your history, because it's going to be 10 days of that. 10 days of carving, 10 days of culinary, 10 days of storytelling, 10 days of demonstration. And it's a combination of all these 28 countries. And my excitement there is the fact that we are the only country that always comes in with two cultures, the Chamorro and the Carolinians.
Awesome.
And, yes. And so we come in and they see, our performance, and they're like, wow, but you're from the same rock. Yes, same rock. Two totally different kind of performances. And yes, we're under one culture. And that's the excitement that I always find, at least to go down and do that representation to the people or the other countries.
So it's just a few weeks away, in June.
Yes.
And the delegation, the NMI delegation, can you tell us a little bit about who they are and what we'll be doing?
Okay. So the CNMI delegation, we opted this year again to go with 100. And that is always the number that the hosting country gives out to all the participating countries. We are giving that 100, and in this 100, the hosting country will cover their transportation, their accommodation, and their meals for the next 10 days.
Ground transportation when you get there.
Yes. And so if you are within the 100, the hosting country will be there to meet you at the airport, bring you to your hotel, transport you from your hotel to whatever your venue that you're assigned to. They will give meals to all of these delegations and accommodation. Anybody outside the realm, because we opt, like, for example, Guam, we came down big at 250 delegates.
That's when it was held in Guam.
In Guam, only because
Yes.
it was,
Very
closer
close.
to us.
Yes.
But anybody outside that 100, we're on our own. So we make all the arrangements to accommodate. But within this 100, a total of about 60 are performing artists. It's always the biggest featured activity at
Dances,
the festival.
mostly,
Yes,
yeah.
dances, songs, bands. And so within this 100, we have 60 of performing artists. And then we have 14 of traditional, 15 traditional artists, because that would be 12 coming in from Rhoda. And then we have the storyteller, the bead, and the muer that will be out of Saipan. And then we have the traditional Seafaring Traditions program. Yeah.
The delegation from Rhoda, what will they be doing?
The traditional art. So we have stone carvers, we have wood carvers, we have traditional healers, we have coconut leaf weavers, we have basket weavers, sand art. Sand art always comes in from Rhoda. That's where
Kind of like a contemporary.
Yes.
I think that's, wow, one of the incredible things about FestPac is the rich culture that you can see when you go there. But then they also have contemporary things.
Yes. We
Contemporary
also,
arts.
it's a combination of contemporary traditionals, because like in the performing artists, there is a different stage for our traditional artists that are only going to perform with a cappella. And then we have a different stage with our contemporaries that are going to be playing with the band. And then we have a different stage again for performing artists that it's only music. Only band members can. So in Guam, they called it the Jams House. And so in Hawaii, it's a Hawaiian name that I cannot pronounce.
You will know it when you come back.
Yes, I will know it when I come back, yes. But we have the 100 and we've covered most, because there's so many things that, your hosting country will send you, down to culinary, down to oratory, down to literary. And so
Movies, performing
yes,
arts.
theaters,
Yes.
floral, this
fashion
time around, and
sometime.
fashion, yes. This time around, we are not able to accommodate like the literary arts and the oratory. That's where the students, usually come into. But we have performing artists, the traditional and the seafaring traditions program that are in this voyage now for the FestPac. Yes.
So you were able to attend FestPac in Guam. That was 4 years ago, correct?
That was
Or was
in
that 8 years
2000
ago?
Yeah, 8 years. Yeah.
What stood out to you? That was the first FestPac you remember as an adult. Apparently, you went when you were younger to Australia. But what was your experience there?
My experience in FestPac Guam was, as an adult, to see all of these cultures coming together and to see the differences of who and what we are today versus them coming in still holding on to their tradition. Coming through the airport with, we have countries that came in with whatever traditional attire, and it's just, and to us we're like, wow,
Right.
because we're all fully clothed, and there are countries that are coming in with their
I noticed that as well.
traditional
Yeah.
attire, and it's like the most natural thing to do. They walked in and did whatever they were gonna do without being conscious of. And I find that interesting because in our generation now, just a little cut up on your shirt and it's like everybody's so, conscious. But with these countries that they have been going generation of being that. Let's say, for example, Rapa Nui was a hit, Rapa Nui, because of their attire, and they were so open about it. Everyone was so excited to go and see them perform. And then to the very traditional, let's say, PNG, they came in with like leaves and the bamboos. And
Papua New Guinea,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And so we had fun with them because we also found out that there are countries in Melanesia and Polynesia that also chew. It might be different, but that was like what started our friendship. We've never known that they chew, but it was through that connection that we were able to connect with them. But it was just the amazing art of from the performing to carving was what I was amazed about. New Zealand, Australia, all these countries coming in, and with the giant, it started out as a giant wood. And then at the end of the FestPac, or towards the end, it actually, some made tiki, some...
Because every island has a part
Yes.
to carve.
Yes.
Yes.
That was my favorite part of the FestPac, all the carving to to see them sit and
day by day,
yeah,
you know, you
and
see
have
it
us
develop.
come, and they'll educate us about it, from the safety to it to what do you need to do and the intricate work that they need to put in. It's just amazing. That was my favorite part of the FESPAC.
I was able to go to FESPAC when it was held in Palau, and I would agree with you. One of the things that really stood out was all the traditional attires, which was just amazing and beautiful. And then Northern Marianas and Guam, we were going around in our jeans and T-shirts.
Yes.
And it was quite sad in a way, because you realized how far we had been westernized or colonized, that we had lost the practice of naturally every day wearing our cultural attire. So
yes.
it was a great opportunity to kind of be reminded about those roots.
Yes.
And to see our brothers and sisters still strong in those roots was very
yes.
encouraging.
And so this time around, I'm really encouraging Maggie. She's the chairwoman of the FESPAC organizing committee.
Maggie Sablan,
Yes,
yes.
Miss Maggie Sablan.
Extraordinary
yes.
Maggie Sablan.
My little Powerpuff Girl. She's small, but... And so I always remind them that we don't want that same, you know, what you just mentioned about Palau, that's exactly what happened in Guam. And so I'm encouraging them that I have been there. I am encouraging them that always, right after the Parade of Cultures, there will be a small presentation from, you know, each and every country. And so we experienced the same with Guam. After the Parade of Cultures, and they called us up for a presentation, the Talabog men were in their full attire, and they merged with the southern, you know, with our
the
southern one. They were in their
Tuhuma.
Yeah, I call it the 60 Tuhuma because it, you know, went on. No skirt like the modern now where they covered down. Talabog was right out in their Tuhuma. But I was kind of sad when I watched it, because they did the number that they merged with the Southern Warriors, and they were in their traditional attires, and our Southern Warriors were, like you said, in their jeans. Different color kind. Some were short, some were long, you know. And this was at the opening ceremony of the villages. And so this time around, I'm encouraging the performing artists that we might have a uniform that we're going to wear during the Parade of Cultures to identify who we are and what country we represent. But right after the parade, there should also be that traditional attire that is under that uniform of parade, so that when we need to do our presentation, everybody's in their traditional attire. Right? So that is I'm hoping, and I'm really pushing Miss Maggie, that we're going to be strong, at least on that part, for the opening ceremony, because that is the biggest. That opening ceremony, that is like the main event. Towards the closing, delegates are free to go if they need to go. But it's always at that opening that we try to highlight, you know, the performances and what they're going to be expecting to see or to anticipate to see for the, you know, in the next 10 days while we're there.
You know, and it's really nobody's fault that we are the way we are today, very quote unquote modernized or westernized. That's just the way, the hand that history has dealt us, the way our path has gone through history. But at the same time, it's really beautiful that nowadays we're, you know, returning, becoming more aware of traditional attire. Personally, when I wear ter, the Carolinian quote-unquote skirt, I feel different. I am more peaceful and more thoughtful about what I do and what I say. And I think it comes from wearing that attire.
Yes. And when we were in Guam also, you know, a friend of mine, from New Zealand, because we were housed. We were in the same school with New Zealand. And every morning we would wake up from their music, because at 6 o'clock they're practicing already. And that's what, you know, we would wake up to, beautiful voices, you know, and their a cappella and the guitar. And during one of our hangout sessions, she asked me, so how come there are two dances that are very, different from each other, even the language? And so I was explaining to her, how the Carolinians are originally from the Caroline Islands. But what intrigued her was when I shared that for a very small island, we've been through different administrations, and she's like, what's that? What does that mean? I said, well, we started out with Germany,
Spain?
and then but I reversed it.
Oh, so you're admitting you said Germany first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told her, and I was lucky that the late Uncle Joe Limis was with us, on her house. I said, we started out with Germany and then Spain, and then Uncle Joe said, Leomol, Suremilla.
Switch it.
Yeah. And so I continued, and I said, and then down to Japanese and down to the American administration now. She was like, wow. I said, so this is where, when we go up and perform, you will hear Japanese words.
True.
In our, singing.
Yes.
And then you will see some combination of Spanish when we do the butsu.
Yes.
And so I was trying to explain to her, and she was amazed that our very small island went through 4 administrations of people that, do not belong to the island. And I told her, I said, it's all on, what should we call it? Politics, depending on who's strong to, to rule. Mm-hmm. And so I said, and for our very small rock, we have a very diverse, culture that we have different people from different countries that are there, and it makes up our island. And that intrigued her to, find a date to come and visit. And I said, give you heads up, we don't have seasons, and we do not have cheap flights. And so work on it, and coming to our island, I'll make sure that you visit and see, who we are and what we are too.
That's one thing we're known for, is our hospitality.
Yes.
Well, I imagine most of the Pacific Islanders, but definitely here in the Marianas. Well, all of this doesn't just happen with the snap of the fingers. It takes money. So let's talk about money when we come back, all right?
Okay.
We'll be back after this break.
Hafaday, Zantiro. I'm Leo Pangilinan with the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors who have made possible the many programs in our community like this show. We couldn't have done it without them. And if you value the work we do and would like to make a contribution to our efforts, we ask that you consider making an in-kind or cash contribution to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. Any amount is appreciated, and donations of up to $5,000 qualify for an educational tax credit. We appreciate your partnership and support. Sidus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Welcome back to Your Humanities Half Hour. We are talking about the Flame Tree Arts Festival. Well, actually, we're talking about the Festival of Pacific Arts, but Gloriana, we are also going to talk about the Flame Tree Arts Festival.
Yes.
Let's finish up, though, with FestPAC before we get there. Okay. Where is the funding coming to get you guys there? Host country is going to take care of you when you get there. Mm-hmm. How are we going to make this happen?
So, Miss Maggie has solicited to the SNIOD, the legislative delegation of Tirian and Rhoda, their respective islands. And then she has also solicited to the Office of the Governor. We have funding also coming through our partners, the National Endowment for the Arts, through the Western Arts Federation. They have approved a total of $50,000 for the CNMI in support of the FestPAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much, do you have an idea of how much you need overall?
Just the airline, the uniforms, our like emergency cars, and we requested a total of $265,000.
Okay.
And so we kind of like broke it down to what West staff has already committed to us. And so it's like West staff committed 50,000 to the FESPAC. Miss Maggie solicited about 50,000 from the Office of the Governor, 160,000 from the SNIOD. And then we gave the delegation at least that 25,000 as a goal for them to also pool, pool their share. Because like I shared with, Miss Maggie and the delegation, this is not supposed to be a government responsibility, considering that we're really cash strapped. Is that what they said?
Yes.
Yeah. And so we also encourage our delegates to do their separate fundraisers. And we have a group fundraising in which our next one will be on May 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where and when is that going to be, and what is it going to be?
Well, our first fundraiser, we lean towards the bingo fundraiser because it's faster to make money.
Okay.
Versus, if we're going to have, let's say, luncheon, we'll spend money to buy, and then sometimes what we recover is not even, half of. And so we had our first fundraiser already in March. And then we have our second fundraiser in May 10. If we sell all of the tickets, that'll be about another $10,000. We're almost to our goal of that 25, because we committed that at least 25,000 out of that will come from the delegation, as a form of their fundraiser.
Well, good job on that. Way to be proactive.
Yeah. And then our delegation also are doing their separate
Personal,
fundraisers for their incidentals in Hawaii. But because, of course, we always say everything is going to be okay, but when we get on the ground and, start running, we tend to, bump into things that would kind of like make us stand first to say, okay, what's going on? Let's regroup and see how we're going to move forward. So these are all the incidentals that were separate groups are just trying to make on their own for when we get to Hawaii.
So we all know we're cash strapped, Glo. Why is it important for government money to be given to this initiative?
And so the governor asked me and asked Maggie and I, the first time we sat down with him, and he said, do all the 100 need to go, considering that we're cash strapped?
Yeah.
And does everybody, do we even, need to participate? And like I told him, no, Gov, we do not need to participate. Just like in Solomon Islands, CNMI did not participate. And so I explained, I said, we do not need to participate. We are not going to be penalized if we do not participate. But our participation, if we do not join this, breaks the links of that connection that. And so with the FESPAC, having everybody there every 4 years is it's reconnecting with one another and how far we've progressed with, promoting our culture, promoting our custom. And so I just shared that we do not have to go, but if we do not go, it's like we become that missing link in this chain of, people that are all coming together. And so we're still trying and we're still working hard at trying to come up with whatever we can do as part of our fundraisers to also help. But like I shared with Maggie, and I think she has shared with the delegation, that if worse comes to worse, we are also not going to sacrifice, a cash strap, because it's not something mandatory that we need to go to.
Yes.
Yes, but if worse comes to worse and we cannot afford the whole delegation, they asked me the question of, then who will you pick? And I said none. Either we go as one or we don't go at all. Because to me, if it comes to, select 25, like I did at the selection of this FESPAC, I gave the organizing committee that responsibility. Where previous years it's always Arts Council that picks out the delegation to go. This time around, I spoke with Maggie and I told her, you are the appointed. I want this fair and square. Have them apply through the application process, give them a deadline, then do your selection. I don't want it to be like bias, like, oh, she selected them because that's the family and that's the friends. I wanted them to go through the process, and that's how it was done.
Fair
so every time I get calls of, how did the selection process go, I say, oh, the black and white is with the chairwoman of the committee. You guys can take a look at it because she's just keeping everything. No selection was done out of Arts Council.
And I would say if you're not part of the delegation, you should attend at least one FESPAC in your lifetime. It was life-changing in a way. Yes, beautiful event. I want to switch gears here in our last few minutes to talk about our own little FESPAC that we're known for here in Micronesia, the longest running arts and culture festival here in Micronesia. Flame Tree Arts Festival happening this weekend, April 2024, here in the Marianas. Give us the who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Okay, so our 43rd annual Flame Tree Arts Festival is going to be held at the Garpen Fishing Base. And we're kicking it off on Friday at 5 p.m.
April 19th?
April 19th,
sorry.
April 19th to 21st.
Okay.
So on Friday, April 19th, we are kicking it off with the opening ceremony. And it's going to go from 5 to 11 p.m. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to go from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So instead of 6 to 11, we're extending it to 3. And the reason behind that is there are so many performing artists that want to join. And so I'm even having calls if we can move it up to like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And so I'm working with Uncle Gord. He's our chairman for
Gordon Marchano.
Yes, the Flame Tree, of course. This is his 36th year as chairing the
Thank God
entertainment
for Uncle
committee.
Gordon.
Yes. And so I shared with him, don't get sick yet, don't be anything. And
hydrate for the next few days, yes.
Yes, so it's going to be at the fishing base and starting Friday. We have 35 registered artists, and we have a total of 10 food vendors for this year. We wanted to open to make it at least 15 or and added on artists, but
no space.
No space.
Yeah.
And the requirement that the Department of Fire gave us of 12 feet apart, that played really a significant role in the number of artists that are going to participate.
Okay.
But like we say, better few than none at all. But we continue to promote the Flame Tree Festival, and it's the venue that artists can come and display and demonstrate and tell the story of how they became, an artist. The interesting thing about this year is all of the FESPAC delegations are asked to participate because some of our leaders and the ones that are going to be financing us, they want to see how it's going to look like in Hawaii.
Okay, this is great.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is their audition stage, final audition for Hawaii.
Final edition for funding.
Yes.
Man, I really want to thank you for sharing today and really your leadership there at the Arts Council. Very big year for us with FESPAC and, of course, the Flame Tree. Any final thoughts before we go?
Before we go, I would like to ask the support of the community that when they see and hear, announcement on FESPAC groups, fundraisers, and events, to come out and support them, to come out and help them. Let's help our FESPAC, and we wanna go full on representation, for the FESPAC. And with the Flame Tree, I would like to invite the community to come out this year and join us. And it's gonna be a 3-day event of fun and mouth-watering food and artists interesting, art demonstration. A little setback that with the Flame Tree, not with organizing or setting up, but we were so excited because we had a group of Guam that had called that they wanted to come to the Flame Tree Arts Festival. And this was out of the mayor's office of Tamuning. But when they found out, the rate,
How expensive it would be to get here?
Yes, how expensive it was to get here. The Tuhio finally, he emailed me and he said, "Sister, never mind, we'll pass on Flame Tree this year because the offer for Korea is more feasible." With the round trip ticket, and he wanted to get the whole group, but coming to Saipan, not possible because of the airline tickets at 500 plus, he said, I think, versus going to Korea at 300 some. And I said, okay, but we were excited and looking forward to Guam, but we have an artist from Guam that is flying in for the Flame Tree, and an artist from Tinian, yes. Sadly, Rhoda will not be joining us because they are saving what funding they have also for Hawaii, in which we understand because majority of the traditional artists, which is 12, are coming out from the island of Rhoda. Yeah.
Ola mai.
Thank you very much, my sister. It's been fun hanging with you.
I know. And good luck on your fundraising May 10th.
Yes. So, like I say, even if you're not bingo player, just buy the ticket and give it to a bingo player.
There you go.
Yeah.
Our guest today has been the Executive Director of the Commonwealth Council for Arts and Culture, Gloriana Teuira, talking about FESPAC this year in the Flame Tree Arts Festival. Hope to see you there. This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour has been made possible in part by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Democracy demands wisdom. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities. For more information or to share your thoughts, contact the Northern Marianas Humanities Council at nmhcouncil.org or on social media at 670 Humanities. That's 670 Humanities.